You know, music feels like the most personal thing in the world, right? It's the soundtrack to our lives, our moods, our memories. But what if I told you that the songs we listen to are also building something, well, something much, much bigger?
Okay, think about this for a second. What on earth could possibly connect a formal state ceremony, a smoky Jamaican dance hall, and a slick, shiny music video with billions of views? They seem like they're from different planets.
Well, the answer is kind of wild. They are all, in their own very different ways, powerful and, believe it or not, intentional tools for creating, defining, and projecting the whole idea of a nation.
So let's start with the most traditional example, the one we all know, the national anthem. This is basically nation building from the top down.
See, an anthem is so much more than just a patriotic tune you hear at a sports game. It's a tool, a serious one. Political leaders use them to get everyone on the same page, to unite citizens, and even to motivate people to act. You could almost think of it as a country's official mission statement, just set to music. But here's the thing, that mission statement changes, like dramatically, depending on who's in charge. The anthem of a huge colonizing empire, for example, is going to tell a very, very different story than the anthem of a brand new nation celebrating its freedom. Man, wow, this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On the left, you've got France's La Marseillaise. It's super aggressive, calling for the impure blood of enemies to flow in our fields. It's the sound of a revolutionary power asserting itself. But then on the right, you have the anthem of Chad, which was written in 1960 to celebrate its independence from France. The language could not be more different. It's all about hope, courage, and the future. One is a song of war, the other is a song of birth.
Okay, so that's the top-down model. But music can also build a nation from the ground up, from the people themselves. And for the perfect example of that, we've got to go to Jamaica and talk about reggae.
So picture this. It's after Jamaica gets its independence from Britain, but the official culture is still kind of looking back to England. Well, roots reggae, which was inspired by the spiritual and political ideas of Rastafari, offered this powerful alternative. This wasn't about some government-approved unity. This was a cultural revolution, all about reclaiming a proud African-centered identity. It was about, in the famous words of Bob Marley, freeing people from mental slavery.
And the history behind this is just incredible. It really starts back in the 20s with Marcus Garvey's prophecy. Then, in 1930, that prophecy is seen as fulfilled when Haile Selassie is crowned emperor in Ethiopia. But the real game changer? That happens on April 21, 1966, when Selassie himself visits Jamaica. The massive, cheering crowds that greet him are a huge wake-up call to the establishment. He actually honors Rastafari leaders, which validates the whole movement. And from there, in the 70s, reggae music just explodes, carrying that message of black pride out to the entire world. And this one lyric from Bob Marley, it just says it all. The system he's talking about is what Rastas call Babylon. You know, the oppressive political and money systems left over from colonialism. And that rhythm, that iconic one-drop beat, it literally became the sound of that resistance. It was the heartbeat of a whole new identity, created by the people. All right, so we've got top-down anthems and bottom-up reggae. But now, let's talk about a third, totally modern strategy, using music to project a nation's power and influence all across the globe. Enter K-pop.
The thing you have to understand about K-pop's global takeover is that it was not an accident at all. It was a plan. See, after the huge Asian financial crisis in 1997, South Korea's government realized they needed a new kind of export, and they decided the answer was culture.
And I'm not just speculating here. We're talking about actual government agencies, like KOCA, the Korea Creative Content Agency. They were given a crystal-clear mission. Their own documents say the goal is to enhance industry competitiveness. So this was never just about art. It was a full-on national project.
They were so intentional about it, they even came up with a brand name. Hallyu, or the Korean Wave, was a term that the Ministry of Culture itself coined way back in 1999. They were literally naming the wave they were planning to create. So the big question is, did it work? Well, just look at this number. In 2022, the K-beauty market alone, that's just one piece of this whole Korean wave, was valued at almost $92 billion. That's the endgame, turning cultural appeal into real economic and diplomatic power. It's what people in politics call soft power, and this is a textbook example. So there you have it. 3 totally different sounds, and 3 completely different strategies for building a nation. Let's pull all these threads together. This chart really breaks it down for us, right? You've got national anthems, which are driven by the state, aimed at its own citizens, and their goal is internal unity. Then there's reggae, powered by the people, aimed at the oppressed everywhere, with the goal of cultural resistance. And finally K-pop, which is this unique state-private partnership aimed at international consumers with the goal of building global influence.
So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if the goal is control, resistance, or just global influence. Music is never just entertainment. It's one of the most fundamental ways we talk about power and who we are.
And that really leaves us with a question for you. The next time you put on your headphones and press play, just think about all the global forces at work. The music you're streaming every single day, what nation is it building?